Hello and welcome to On From Uman. Although successfully dominating no man's land south of Uman, other Soviet advances have forced the Germans back. Captain Pissoff now orders the reluctant Furkov to probe enemy defences around the village of Ladyzhanka. Yes, it's Scenario 2, Probe, in the On From Uman campaign, and the Germans have taken an early lead. What can Furkov do this time? So the Soviets are attempting to identify and secure a route through the Germans' outpost before their reinforcements arrive. The game objective is for the Soviets to capture a German jump-off point and exit one section off the opposite table edge. So here's the terrain for the game. The road continues in a southerly direction towards the village of Ladyzhanka. There's some bad going bog on the right hand side of the village and the left as we look. Elsewhere it's fields, hedges and fences, all of which will provide light cover. There are a few clumps of trees around and a bit of high ground towards the bottom edge as we're looking. The Germans started the patrol phase 12 inches from the opposite edge of the table in a line, and the Soviets in one grouping on the road. You can see all the markers after the patrol phase. Wasn't overly exciting, but that gives us the following jump-off points. The Soviets will have one jump-off point in the woods on the left, one in the woods on the centre on a bit of high ground, and one on the table's edge to the bottom right. The Germans were not allowed any jump-off points any closer than 12 inches to the edge of the table. They've ended up with one on the right-hand side in the corner of the field, one in the building in the centre, and one in the open just to the right-hand side of that clump of trees on the high ground. Here's the Soviet platoon then. It's led by Alexei Furkov and his 2IC Vladimir Pukin, the inferior senior leader. Clearly he's been patched up, or perhaps it's just that I can't be bothered thinking up another Russian double entendre. Anyway, that platoon is the bog standard one, no change there. For support they have 9 points. They were allowed only infantry units in white and light vehicles in orange. The reason why I've questioned that is because I think the orange colour refers to light armour. Anyway, the probe is effectively a recce scenario, so I think it's light armour. Unfortunately for the Soviets, they don't have any. Or perhaps it's the fact that I haven't got any models for it. So I'm going to have to give them a bit of transport action. So that means they'll have a scout section and junior leader for 4 points, a truck, which I can get a section into for another 2 points, 50mm mortar team. They did a good job on the last scenario, and they'll get a replen point as well, because I'll probably use it for them. So that's a total of their 9 points. And here's Kruger's gang with an unchanged platoon. For support they get 4 points. It's a third of the Soviet total, but they get +1 because of the difference in platoon ratings. Infantry units and engineer units only for the Germans. I haven't gone for the latter. I've just given them an MG42 tripod mounted with 5 crew. But looking at that, that does actually come with an entrenchment and the good old adjutant for 1. So let's have a closer look at the ground. The central jump-off point for the Soviets is in that clump of trees. Obviously the vehicle will be coming on the road here. They've got another jump-off point in the woods over there. And over to the right on the edge of the table here, a jump-off point, which is nicely by those trees there. Although obviously that bog is going to be tricky to cross if they wanted to. Now the Germans themselves, they've got a jump-off point on the right there in the field, that building, and this one in the open, which is an interesting one, and that's a change to the version 1 rules where they've got to be hidden away or on the edge of the table. It said no closer than 12 inches to the edge of the table, even if that means in the open. Right, what are the Soviets going to do? Well, I think the scout section are going to be snurgling forward and hopefully going to be putting in a jump-off point with some chain of command points. Clearly the truck is going to be coming on the edge of the road, and I might try and do one of these assaults, drive it up rapido and get the section to pile out and either do fisticuffs or get onto a jump-off point. Meanwhile, I'll be looking to get some cover fire down from the woods on the left over there, and certainly the central part here on the high ground. So I think that is a plan. Let's see if that unfolds. Let's see if Furkov can pull this one off. So the Soviets have a higher force morale and will start. And that's a large straight for 40 points and 1 chain of command point. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mortars will deploy here from the right hand jump off point on the 1, and the patched up inferior senior leader Vladimir Pukin will also deploy there to the edge of the trees, and he can activate the mortar when required. That worked pretty well last scenario. Also deploying from this jump off point, I'm going to get the scout section into the woods, and they'll be snurgling around to the right shortly. On a 3, the heavy section is going to come into the centre here from this jump off point, and they will be going into Overwatch. A useful first phase for the Soviets. Right, the Germans get 2 1s, 2 2 3. Now, because I've got an entrenchment with the MG42, I can deploy them from this jump off point immediately into it, and that is then protected. And I'm actually going to put them up on the high ground here, so they can oversee the battleground rather than being stuck behind the hedge. So here they are, no junior leader with them, but they will open fire on the heavy section in those trees over there. So it's 10 dice, hitting on 5s, 4 hits. Soviets will get light cover here, so it's 4, 5 shock, 6 kill, 2 on the near team, 2 shock, and 2 on the far team. 1 kill. Now, is that on the junior leader? No. An old matey gets it there. However, because they're on Overwatch, they will return fire. 11 dice for the Soviets, because they've got 2 points of shock, and each LMG is only 6 dice. Hitting on 5s. 3 hits. Now, these chaps are being hard cover, so it's 5 shock, 6 kill. No effect. The wonders of an entrenchment. And on a 3, I'm going to get a section to deploy from this central jump-off point, which is the hut to the front. They'll go behind the fence and also open up on the heavy section. In fact, I think they'll be deploying on a 2, actually. 14 dice, hitting on 5s. Well, that's piss poor shooting. Just the 1 hit on the nearest team, which is a kill, though. Now, is it on junior leader? No. So I'm now thinking that this deployment for the Germans is going pretty well. I'll get another section to deploy to this jump-off point behind the hedge. They'll also open fire on the Soviets. Also 14 dice, hitting on 5s. It's just outside of close range. And that's 5 hits. Well, those sections getting a right kick in. We'll have 2 hits on the nearest team. Another kill. And 3 on the far team. No effect. Right, lucky there. Has the junior leader been hit? No. So they're down to 2 operators, 2 shock, but that can be spread between the section. And that, I think, is it for the Germans. End of phase. Right, 6 does nothing. 1 chain of command. They have 5 points now. 1, 1, 3. So the 1 and 3 added together. Old Pukin there at the front is going to spot. He's at the edge of those woods, and you can see this German section in the corner of the field. You'll get the mortar to engage. So 3 dice hitting on 5s because they haven't got line of sight. Old Pukin is telling them where to go, and it's Storm of Steel. 2 hits, 1 reroll. Just the 2. Reducing cover by 1, so it's in the open. Rifle team on the left. That's a kill. Gun team on the right. Shock. Now, is a kill on the junior leader? No. And on a 1, the sniper team will deploy from this jump-off point. It's a busy jump-off point, this one, into the trees. And they will also open fire on that same section. Hitting on a 3. Oh, no, miss. Right, end of phase. Right, Germans. 2 1s, 2 3s and a 5, 1 chain of command point. Well, I don't think this is going to be subtle from the Germans. On a 3, it's going to be machine gewehr from here over to the heavy section. Another 3 will be the other section opening fire if I need to, and on the 1, the MG42 will open up as well. They are going to hammer the heavy section in the trees. So as the bullets start to whistle, the heavy section will hit the dirt, pay 3 chain of command points, and they're now in hard cover. Machine of Gewehr, 10 dice, hitting on 5, Storm of Steel. So 3 hits, 2 rerolls, and just the 3 hits. I'll have 2 on the near gun team, no effect. 1 on the far gun team, no effect. Well, there we go, that's pretty rubbish from the Germans. Now the section by the house is opening up. 14 dice, hitting on 5s, no Storm of Steel this time. And they've got 5 hits. I'll have 2 on the near gun team, 5 shock, 6 kill. 1 kill, 3 on the far gun team, and that's 1 kill, 1 shock. So is one of the kills on the junior leader? No. So a heavy section are taking a right pounding here. Look at all these crew members dead. Junior leader's still there. That gun team's down to 1 operator, 1 shock, and this gun team is 2 operators, 2 shock. So they are just about okay. But stand by, the MG42's opening up now, hitting on 5s. I don't think they're ranged in yet, that's just 2 hits. Hard cover, near gun team, no effect. Far gun team, no effect. And that's the end of phase for the Germans. Well now, double phase for the Soviets. 1 chain of command point for the Germans, 2-2-3. Got to start doing some damage to these Germans, so it's all very static from the Soviets at the moment. Pukin will get the mortar to fire again, and he'll do some spotting. It's their second round of 3. 3 dice, Storm of Steel, need 5s. Miss. And on a 3, I guess this lot are going to have to open fire on that section there. Junior leader can take off 1 point of shock. 12 dice, hitting on 5s. Well, that's a pretty good effort there, 6 hits. Light cover, 4-5 shock, 6 kill, 3 dice on the rifle team, 1 shock, and 3 dice on the gun team. Ooh, look at that, 1 shock, 2 kill. Right, here's the kill on the junior leader. It is. Right, let's take the crewman off first, he's Browners. And what's happened to the junior leader? Whoa, that's him, gone. Browners as well. Bang. So bad things happened for the Germans. -2. And they're down to 6 force morale. And on the final 3, I'll get this scout section to move forward. They're obviously milling around doing bugger all at the moment. Let's push them up to the edge of the wood. 2 dice only because we're in broken terrain. Well, they're clearly not overly happy. Pathetic. End of phase. So follow-on phase for the Soviets. I was thinking about using the old section in the truck zooming up over that last phase. However, Germans need a bit of attrition first. So here we go. Well, look at that. Another phase, end of turn. Chain of command point to the Germans, 2-3. I don't think anything's actually going to happen at end of turn, so we'll just crack on. So firstly on a 2, the heavy section will continue their fire against the Germans behind the hedge. 12 dice hitting on 5s. 4 hits, 2 on the rifles, 2 shock, 2 on the gun team, 2 shock. So that's a total of 7 shock, and there's 7 of them. So not quite pinned, but they're looking a bit dodgy. And on a 3, this junior leader will get his scouts moving again. Got to try and enthuse them. Well, this time they go 12. So here they are, they're sneaking round to the right-hand side of the German position. They'll have to cross that bog, but they've got a lot of cover here, so that might be quite useful. And here we go again. Right, no double phase this time. 6 does nothing, 2 chain of command points. Soviets are on 4 now, 1-4. So on a 4, Pukin will get the mortars to fire their final round, and they'll try and hammer that section in the corner of the field. They're looking a bit dodgy. 3 dice hitting on 5, Storm of Steel. 2 hits, 1 reroll. Just a 2. So in the open, 1 hit on the rifles. Oh, kill. There's no junior leader. 1 hit on the gun. No effect. So 6 men there, 7 shock, they are now pinned. And on 1, the old sniper matey here, I've probably forgotten about. He's going to open fire and see if he can catch a head sticking up. These are 3. Ooh, just about. Now, they count as in the open, even though they're pinned and in soft cover. Another shock. So I'll bang that on the rifle side. They are cowering behind that hedge. They don't like it up them. End of phase. Right, quick clarification on that one. I remember to put the shock on now from the sniper. There are 6 left with 9 shock in total. Not looking good. And the junior leader is dead. German phase. Right, 6 does nothing. 2 chain of commands. They've now got 5, 2, 3. So no chance of the MG42 firing because there's not a 1 to activate the team. No junior leader here, so they'll have to activate on a 2. And I guess these chaps will crack on as well on a 3. I can't even get Kruger on to help out with that section on the right and take some shock off. So this lot's quite a busted flush actually. 8 dice for the MG34. Less 2 for shock is 6. Halved is 3. And 4 riflemen, less 2 for shock. And halved is another 1. So total 4. So I think the heavy section will do hit the dirt again for another 3 points. That takes the Soviets down to 1. Needing 5s. 1 hit on the near side here. No effect. And on a 3, junior leader with the section by the hut. He'll actually machine gewehr with the MG34 on the heavy section. 10 dice hitting on 5s, Storm of Steel. 7 hits, 3 rerolls. 2 more hits, another reroll. And look at that, total of 9. 5 dice on the far team. Wow, that is 2 shock and 2 kill. 4 on the near team. Just the 1 shock there. Now, of those 2 kills, is 1 on the junior leader? Oh, it is. See what's happened to him? Killed. So he's gone. There's only 1 crew member left on the far gun, so that's gone. Shot goes with him. And that team of 2 is left with shock of 2, so not quite pinned. However, bad things happen for a junior leader being killed and a team being wiped out. Junior leader first. Oh dear, that's -2. And team wiped out. Another -1. Soviets are on 7, force morale. End of phase. Soviets desperately need something now. This attack is grinding. Well, again, it's a large straight, 40 points, but not in this game. 6 does nothing. 1 chain of command. 2, 3, 4. So first of all, Pukin will activate on the 4. He will tell the mortar to fire, and looky here, they've got a replen. Another 3 rounds, and again, they're going to go for that section by the hedge, try and break them. 3 rounds, hitting on 5s, Storm of Steel. 2 hits, 1 reroll. Oh, another 1. No, just a 3 then. We'll do 2 on the rifles. Now, they'll be a light cover because they're pinned. Oh, check that out. 2 kills. There's no junior leader. And the gun team is another point of shock. So 4 men left, 10 shock. They are going to break. 2d6 plus 6. 15. And there they are, cowering behind the fence and the trees and keeping their heads down. Don't think we'll be seeing them again. And before I forget, bad things happen for section breaking. -2. Germans are on 4 force morale. And that means they lose a command dice. On a 2, this scout section is going to start its move across the open ground. However, they are scouts and can go 2d6 and still remain tactical. So they go 8. And you may note they've suddenly swollen their ranks to 6 men and a junior leader. That's because I got that wrong previously. There should be 2 teams of 3 rather than 2 teams of 2. Always learning something. And on a 3, I want to get some more firepower down, so I'm going to put a section in the trees on the left of the Soviet position. and they'll immediately engage the German section by the hut. 12 dice hitting on 5s. 4 hits. Bang average. 2 on the rifles on the left. Light cover. 1 kill. 2 on the gun team. Oh, 2 kill. Wow. Right. So he's gone. And he's gone. Now here's the other hit on the junior leader. Yes. What's happened to him? Wounded. Now the bad things happen. Ooh, 5. -1. Dear oh dear, Germans are on 3 force morale. Quick synopsis then before we go any further. Germans have been hit hard on their left flank. That section has been decimated and they've run away. They've lost a junior leader in the centre here. And although they've got this dominating position for the MG42 up on the high ground, the Soviets have just deployed a section on their left. They're getting the rounds down. And over to the right, clearly we've had the mortar working like a belt-fed wombat. And of course the scouts are moving up on the Soviet right. Meanwhile, don't forget the sniper, he's keeping his eye peeled for easy targets. So, of course, with the German force morale being so low at the moment, they may be getting a bit jittery. Can Furkov clear them out? Well, the Germans still retain 4 command dice on a force morale of 3. But that is pretty shite. 6 does nothing. There's only 1 senior leader, so 4 does nothing. 3-4. So I'm going to get the third and final German section to deploy into the field of death. They've seen the Soviet scout section coming across that open ground and will open fire. Fortunately for the Soviets, they're just outside of close range, so 14 dice hitting on 5s. And that's 6 hits. So it's light cover. 3 on the right hand team. 1 kill. 3 on the left hand team. 1 kill, 1 shock. Has the junior leader been hit? No, but that's a pretty hefty hit on that scout section. So on the 4, Kruger's decided to deploy. He knows his left flank is now secure by that section deploying, so he'll come to the right to the MG42 and start to crank the gun. And they'll target the heavy section in the centre and try and finish them off. But I've just realised I can use Kruger's 3 orders to do machine gewehr with the MG42. So it'll be a total of 13 dice, hitting on 5s, Storm of Steel. And that is 5 hits with 3 rerolls. 6 hits, another reroll. 7 hits, another reroll. Just the 7. It's just this 1 team left here. It's all going on them. I can't remember whether they're light cover or hard cover because they hit the deck, but doesn't matter. There's 2 kills there. There's only 2 left. They are gone. Team wiped out. -1. Soviets are on 6 force morale. Well, 6 does nothing. 1, 2, 4, 4. On a 4, Pukin will activate and get the mortar to fire its penultimate round. This time they're going for the hut. Hitting on 5s, 3 dice, Storm of Steel. 2 hits. 1 on the rifles. They're in the open. 1 shock. And 1 on the gun team. Another shock. The sniper team will activate on a 1 and they'll go for the field of death. Hitting on a 3. Yes. Counts as in the open. That's a kill. Now, on a 1 and 2, the junior leader's been hit. Oh dear, he has. Now what's happened to him? Wounded. Dead Eye Ivan strikes again. Bad things happen. And that's not what Kruger wants to see. -2. German force morale drops to 1. And on a 2, the Soviet section back left as we look there in the trees will open fire on the German section by the hut. 12 dice hitting on 5s. There we go, the average strike again. I think exactly the same. 4 hits. Light cover. 2 hits on the rifles. 1 shock. And 2 on the gun team. Well, that's a kill. Is that on the junior leader? No. Lucky. Otherwise that would be the end of scenario. And finally on a 4, just because he can, Furkov joins the action. He moves up to Pukin and has a little chat. Things are going well. But don't tell that to the heavy section. Just the 2 dice for the Germans. Fat lot of good that was. They do, however, now have a chain of command dice. Soviets. Right, 1 chain of command, 1, 1, 2, 3. So we'll get the support weapons in action. Mortar fires its last round, and the sniper team will open fire as well. Sniper firing into the field of death. Hit. Oh, could have done with that for the effect. They're in the open. However, it is a kill. Now is that on the junior leader? No. And the mortar will stonk this section. 1 hit, 1 reroll. Just the 1 hit. I'll go for the rifles there, I think that's fair. No effect. However, that bombardment is going to be followed up by this section on the left. They'll be activating on a 2. 12 dice hitting on 5s. A nice 5 hits there. 3 on the rifles, light cover. 1 shock. 2 on the gun team. 1 shock. Not overly effective. And on the Soviet right, the junior leader will take that point of shock off, and he'll get his section to move further round to the right, not entering the bog just yet. They go another 9. And here they are, snurgling around, remaining tactical and flanking the Germans. End of phase. Here we go with the Germans. Well, again, pretty poor there. 6 does nothing. The gun can fire. So here we go. MG42 team activating on a 1. Look to the left, and there's a lot of activity in those woods. We've had mortar bombs coming out of there, sniper rounds, and there's 2 senior leaders there, Furkov and Pukin. They will open fire. No machine gun this time, though. So Pukin and Furkov are the target, but the sniper's within 4. 10 dice, hitting on 5s. 3 hits. Now, none of them can take shock, so I'm looking for 6s. Right, somebody's been hit. 1, 2, it's the sniper. 3, 4, it's Pukin. 5, 6 is Furkov. Oh, Furkov scored it up. What's happened to him? Wounded. Oh dear, he's only been on the pitch 5 minutes. Bad things happen. -1. And the Soviets are on 5 force morale. Capturing a jump-off point looks to be beyond the Soviets at the moment. Let's see if they can get the German force morale to 0. Interesting roll. 3 1s, 2 3. So I think it's headshot time again from the sniper. Hitting on a 3. Yes, could have done with that for the effect. In the open. And that is another kill. Now, has that junior leader been hit? No. But it's another rifleman gone. Casualties are mounting. On a 2, the section on the left will open fire on the section by the hut. 12 dice, hitting on 5s. And that's 5 hits. 3 on the rifles. 1 kill, 1 shock. And 2 on the gun team. 1 kill. So of those 2 kills, is 1 on the junior leader? No. So matey's gone there. But I'm afraid the gun team only had 1 chap left, so they are gone. And that is team wiped out. Bad things happen. -1, and the German force morale collapses. Well, there we go. Victory for the Soviet platoon as the Germans run away. They've had enough, especially on that field of death there. Look at it. It's bad news for the Germans there, but it's also pretty bad news for the heavy section. They're not going to be thanking Furkov for this battle, but there's none of them left anyway, so they probably don't care. Anyway, over on the left, the Soviets did well with this section here, putting down the rounds, because at the beginning of that little scenario, the Soviets just didn't have the firepower. The last phase there, I could have been banging in some more mortars, but to be honest, I can't remember whether they had any rounds left at all. And indeed, I didn't even get the truck on with the 3rd section to do an assault. That's a bit of a shame, wanted to play that. So old Ladyzhanka was well probed there. Misses. Well done the Soviets. Well done Furkov. And it's 1-1 in the campaign.